What's up, guys? Jamie here, and welcome to episode 13 of No Turning Back. As always, all our social media links are in the description, and if you want to send us any questions in for a Q&A or any suggestions about the video of our series, then you can tweet us at NTBWWE, links in the description. And my birthday was yesterday, so if you want to wish me happy birthday or happy belated birthday, go ahead. My birthday is January 8th, which was yesterday, and I had a great time. I'm celebrating it all weekend, so you could call it my birthday weekend. So you can technically say happy birthday. Also, I will show you what the kids made me. So here's one. Here's some of the others. And here are the last remaining ones. There's one here, one here, one here, and the last one, which everything is falling, and this one. So if you want to see in detail, I might do some birthday video of any of the gifts that I got. But anyways, I'm also wearing an Undertaker shirt, if you could see. It says, "The Dead Man, the Undertaker, the Demon of Death Valley since 1990," which I absolutely really like this shirt. I got it for Christmas. And then this necklace is what Razman's Reality got me, my co-host. And if you want to see any of those gifts, you have to go in the description and look at my Christmas video that I showed all of my Christmas presents. But as always, I am here with my co-host. Would you like to say anything?
What's up, everybody? The reason I was doing the miming thing when she said my name is because, as always, I'm working on the link. But just like I sent Jamie gifts, I sent her that necklace and a few other things, which, like she said, you gotta go to the description and see it. But I am wearing one of the things that she sent me, which is Kevin Owens' fight hat. And then I have the other part of the package here, which is the brand new Chris Jericho DVD. Well, not brand new, but his newest one, The Road is Jericho. So if you want to see like our reactions, like oh my god and freaking out, you have to go watch the full videos, which will be in the description. But yeah, needless to say, as soon as I get this thing out, boy, do we have a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. There's going to be no Q&A because we have a lot to talk about this episode. So there will be no Q&A this episode. Definitely next episode. But there's so much to talk about. And it was my birthday yesterday, I'm going to say again. And I absolutely love this shirt so much and the necklace. But
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we have a lot to talk about this episode. And I was going to do a video yesterday, but I didn't have time. And I don't normally do birthdays or videos on my birthdays. But anyway, are we ready to get started with the...
Well, I can still talk while I'm typing, I believe. I'm okay. So...
All right. So what do we want to go into first? NXT, right? There's nothing to really talk about because it was a recap, though.
Yeah, we did. That's what we wanted to say, was that there will be no NXT discussion simply because it was part 2 of Best of 2015, and it would be difficult to try and react to matches that already happened on such a big week. So,
well, and if we were doing No Turning Back then, that's when we would talk about each of those matches. So, but yes. Anyways,
and also
the USA Network, or what did you want to add?
Well, yeah, that's all I was going to say, was we're going to go ahead and talk about SmackDown next, because really there's only 3 things to talk about, which was the SmackDown moving to USA Network, and because it moved to USA Network, the 2 good main events, and the big thing was Mark Ronaldo, the voice that some people may know from UFC, is now the lead voice of SmackDown. And what I didn't know about this guy until WWE hired him was that it was a lifelong dream of his to be in WWE. So he is a true wrestling fan, and he's called a number of years of independent wrestling as well. So I was really impressed by him, and I know you were too, because it wasn't like normally when they call a guy up and he's nervous and he doesn't know how to call a match, this guy knew a match like the back of his hand. He
He
was,
knew wrestling lingo. Like if one of us,
yeah,
I mean, one of us don't really, you know what I mean, for the most part, don't have experience in WWE. So we wouldn't really, like, we know wrestling lingo, but we wouldn't know exactly how to call a match. But he's exactly like us. Big fan, knows his wrestling, knows wrestling lingo. You know, he wouldn't just say, oh, he jumped off the ring. He would know how to put that in a wrestling term. So.
yeah. So I was really impressed by him, and oh my gosh, the two main events. First of all, my love, Becky Lynch and Charlotte had another amazing match, and Charlotte continues to play an amazing heel. She's great. I mean, she's clearly Ric Flair's daughter. She's acting just like Ric Flair. It was great. Um, we're gonna have to backtrack a little bit and talk about what set up that match on Raw, which was even better, which was Becky Lynch beat her on Raw, and then she just went absolutely nuts. I mean, she freaking speared her and like just full on heel turn on her.
See,
Uh,
that's what amazing. That's what's so
yeah,
amazing is the divas have become like the best thing a part of WWE, and I'm so happy that
yeah,
both those times were great when the divas were there. And speaking of SmackDown, like SmackDown wasn't half bad. I just thought, you know, they would hype it up and it really wouldn't be that great, but it actually wasn't too bad. There were some great things on SmackDown. It wasn't that special, but it was actually not too bad of an episode.
yeah. And I just want to say, by the way, real quick, it's hard to believe it's been 12 episodes already. Wow.
13.
Or 13, my bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just time is just flying by. But yeah, obviously my boy KO and Dean were in the other main event, and my goodness,
They put on such a good match, and it was on SmackDown, and they put on such a good match.
and I love this feud anyway because I love both of these guys. But at the same time, it's like,
Me too. I don't like KO as much as you do, but I do love both of them very much.
yeah,
Especially Dean.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's very difficult because you want your favorite wrestlers to feud because you know why you like certain guys or girls,
Or why you click with them, you know?
and you know why what kind of talent they are, and you want to see that talent reflect off each other. But then when that happens, you're like, okay, well now I have no one to root for. I just have to watch.
I don't know who to root for. I love both of them very much. But
Yeah,
yes, I do like KO and I do like Dean, and they put on a great match.
yeah, and for a match that I mean, we all knew that if there was a title change, SmackDown would have got
So they
spoiled.
spoiled nonstop. That's why when I was watching it, I almost kind of didn't want to because, you know, so many spoilers. Like, I knew obviously Becky wasn't going to win the title. I knew that, you know, KO wasn't going to get his title back because if we did, we would have heard about it and then people would have been going nuts and would have been pissed at the spoilers. But despite that, it was still not bad of an episode.
Yep,
So, or
and
show, whatever you want to call it.
yeah, and Live Link is out. But
All right.
we are you know, it's one of those things, and I'm gonna be looking down my phone, by the way, people, to get it on the no turning back Twitter here as well. But um, yeah, it was one of those things where because you knew that there was no title change, you would think, okay, well, this is going to be a typical match ending. But it was anything but typical because it was not a no DQ match or a street fight, but they treated it like it. They were slugging each other out, and the match ended with both guys throwing each other through a table. I mean, it was just nuts. It was one of the best matches I've seen, and like Jamie said, it was a SmackDown match. So, I
Considering
mean,
it was on SmackDown, they actually put in the effort. I'm hoping they continue that, but I don't see them doing that, which is very sad. But hopefully,
yeah.
hopefully they make SmackDown somewhat relevant.
All right. So, obviously, the other two big topics this week, well, three big topics.
Do we want to cover? Sorry if I'm looking down at my phone, and I'm
Yeah.
not just focused on my phone. I'm tweeting out the link.
Yes, we're all tweeting. That's what we're doing. We're looking down our phones to tweet. But
Yes, but we're going to talk about Raw, aren't we?
I was going to say we have Raw, we have what happened as a result of the main event on Raw, and we have certain someone.
We have a bunch of certain people on a certain list, which is really bad. And then what is going to happen with all of that and the changes that are going to have to happen. But anyway, before we even get to that, we will discuss Raw. So, want to add anything?
Okay, well, so are we saving the big thing?
Yeah, we're saving all that big stuff for the end because
Okay.
I feel like if we go into you know how we are. If we start talking, we'll start blabbing.
Yeah,
blabbing.
that's why I'm asking. I was
We
like,
save the best for last.
that's what I'm saying. Do you want me to start talking about it now? Because you don't.
No, Raw right now, and then we'll move on to the best part of what we need to talk about.
Okay, well, first of all, it was the way they did the main event was really interesting because that was the whole show was about. It was about Roman Reigns versus Sheamus. What's going to happen here with the title? Because no one really expected Roman to lose on a Raw to Sheamus that quickly, but no one. I was saying to Jamie as we were watching Raw, and on Twitter, I was saying Vince face turn, Triple H face turn. Like I was doing all kinds of speculation, and so were you. But what they did was really interesting. You know, Vince played the full-on heel all the way through it, and then it ended up just being scenarios where Roman didn't get screwed enough. And then at the end, the referee comes down and gives a 1, 2, 3, and Roman retains. But the big thing that came out of that was Vince's announcement for the Royal Rumble. So that's the first big topic of this week as reactions to the announcement that it will not be a Royal Rumble match for the number one contendership this year. It'll be a Royal Rumble match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship itself. So, thoughts?
Well, my thoughts on that was that it's good that was a bit unexpected, but then it's like they kind of I feel like dug themselves into a hole because if he wins, everyone's already just expecting him to win. Like people are already not okay with that. They're already like, oh, totally unexpected. Or no, oh, so obvious. He's gonna win for the second time for the Royal Rumble, or the second year in a row, and it's gonna be obvious. And they're so high on him, and I already see the complaints. So, but then if you have him lose, he hasn't even had the title for that long. But then also, which it kind of gets into the end of the topic, since so many people are hurt, which I'm really going to save that towards the end. Who else is there? Who else is not totally... If he does lose, it won't be that obvious who could possibly take the title from him. But.
Right. But at the same time, what we talked about and what we have to talk about, I guess we kind of need to transition into this now in order to properly finish this thought, is the injured list is so big right now. And do we really have anybody, despite what we saw on Raw, which again, saving for the end is very difficult, but
touching base on it is not bad. Go ahead.
But despite what we saw on Raw with a certain someone's return and the way that they're, spicing up the Royal Rumble match itself, do we really have anyone that we believe could actually be the next champion and defeat Roman?
Right. I feel like you can't have him win, but you can't have him lose either because of those reasons.
And it would defeat the purpose of a Royal Rumble if there was not a clean winner of the Royal Rumble match. Right. So, I mean, the only time they haven't had a clean winner of the Royal Rumble match was, I think it was the second or third, or no, maybe it was the 10th. It was around WrestleMania 10 or 12. So it was like...
It was a long time ago.
It was a while ago is what I'm trying to say. But they had Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart, I think it was, or maybe it was Ric Flair. I can't remember which one. But they had them both go out of the ring with a clothesline at the same time. Their feet hit the floor at exactly the same time. And that's the only time that they ever haven't had a clear-cut winner. So maybe they could do something like that again, where Roman doesn't get stripped of a title per se, but it's interesting because it sort of establishes a number one contender for WrestleMania. Because that's the other problem is now with the title.
Or if they do that, then that could set up a feud for the both of them, and then that could be the match or something. But continue.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what I was saying. Because the other problem
Mhm.
with this stipulation of the title being on the line in the match itself is how are we going to determine a number one contender for WrestleMania?
Right. That's what I was saying too. And going back, and I'm repeating myself, it just doesn't work either way unless they do something like that. But then again, I don't think people would really be thrilled about that either. So that's why I said I think they kind of dug themselves into a hole with this stipulation.
Unless they're trying to make Fastlane relevant, which is the throwaway pay-per-view that everybody forgets that was formerly the Elimination Chamber, but then they don't do the chamber match much anymore because most arenas can't hold it. That's why they changed the name. But they changed it to Fastlane last year for that reason. But unless they're trying to make Fastlane relevant by making Fastlane determine the number one contender to the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, but even then, it's like the Royal Rumble was always about determining who goes on to the main event of WrestleMania. So for it not to do that kind of seems strange.
Yes, it seems a bit odd, but I guess we'll just have to see. And now that everybody's hurt too, we'll also have to see. But that's
But
a whole other topic for the end of the
I
video.
yeah, I give WWE credit though because they did have issues last year with pushing a guy that the crowd wasn't ready for at the time. It just shows what a difference a year makes for most people though with Roman though, because a year ago everybody hated him.
Oh, they were booing him out of the building. It was pretty bad. And
Yeah,
now people are cheering for him.
yeah. So it really it's just about timing more than anything else, and about the way that a guy creatively is being pushed. But it's uh it's one of those things where sorry, I have my thoughts, but I'm struggling how to put them into words. It's one of those things. This is why we love doing this, but this is the
This is
one thing.
why we like editing. Because when I was talking, when you asked me the question about what do you think of the whole stipulation, I was getting my words all jumbled up. And normally I would have stopped, paused, then restarted what I was saying. But I can't do that when I'm live. But go ahead, continue your thoughts.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. Is that I know what I'm trying to say, but I can't get it out of my mouth. It doesn't. My mouth does not want to
Signal from here to here is not working.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say again is that it's one of those things where WWE clearly was trying to make up for last year and for the last couple of years even. People have been saying that the Royal Rumble's kind of anticlimactic because it's always so obvious who they want to win it. Now
disappointing and
now
not that exciting.
Yeah, so now it's 30 guys with a chance to walk out as WWE World Heavyweight Champion going into WrestleMania. So it does add that intrigue factor to it. But then they kind of shoot themselves in the foot too because we've got a guaranteed return next week, which not your favorite person, but just looking at him on paper, whenever Brock Lesnar is involved, you automatically think, oh, title. So,
right.
He's coming back next week. And
well, at least we have some star power coming back, though, because everyone's, like, gone.
Right. Right. But but then when they did that, they did not anticipate that they would lose another major star. Because, it was bad enough when he was taking time off for his own personal reasons. But now, John Cena's out for 6 to 9 months.
Seth Rollins is out.
Yeah.
Orton is out. You have 3 big guys that are out. Then you have Nikki Bella, Sin Cara. You have Sting out. You still have Daniel Bryan out. Who else do we have out? Cesaro is out. That's over 8 wrestlers out right now. That's a lot of wrestlers.
So that's an extremely depleted roster, which is probably why we saw one return this week, and probably why we're going to see other returns.
Probably sooner rather than later because so many people are out.
Yeah, they need to fill those spots, and who knows? Maybe certain dead man might get a surprise appearance in their Rumble.
I hope that would be amazing.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
I mean, that would be. I mean, I don't know. The biggest issue, obviously, with him is his physical state, and he
He's
did
actually
wrestle
been
a
very
lot.
healthy, but
Yeah, but he did wrestle a lot in 2015 as well. So, and the Royal Rumble match is very chaotic because of how many guys are in it, and
it's
you.
true. But you don't really have to really carry yourself because other people could really do the big stuff, and he could just kind of be just the person to be so excited for. You know
Right,
how like there's a big return and then they might fly off of the ring and then that's it or something.
right, right.
So
But
he doesn't necessarily have to do too much work. He just be like that just surprise factor and just the fact that he's there in a Rumble match because he hasn't been in one in a long time. So
yeah, so I mean, anything can happen now because so many guys are out because they're going to need to to boost it up a little bit. But before, I guess because it's your birthday, I'll let your topic go first, because I'm a nice guy. But now
no, no,
that
no. We'll cover yours first because then we'll get into my big topic.
okay,
But guess who? What also made Raw great? Raw was actually not too bad, but guess what made Raw? Guess what actually was the best part of Raw? Guess who returned? Would you like to say who returned, Raz?
I think everybody knows what that means, even though it's in reverse. Y2J is back to save the WWE, and it was so great because we love New Day too. So,
Love New Day. You guys always
so,
see my tweets. I love them.
so
And
we're
the way
sitting.
they did it too. Go ahead, it's your
So,
topic. So.
okay, so we're sitting there watching Raw because you guys should know by now, we're tag team partners through and through. We're best friends. We watch everything together, unless it's a live event because it's unfortunately we're in different states. But other than that, we're always together for wrestling. So we're sitting there watching Raw, and we're thinking, oh, this is great. New Day is being funny like always. What in the world are they counting down to? And it goes seven, or it goes eight, seven, six, five. And when it
And
gets
then when it's at 3, it gets to Chris Jericho's numbers.
no, it switched at five. Actually, I was gonna say it when it got to five. It
Well,
did
you
it.
know what I mean. Whatever. It switches at some point,
Yeah,
and because it went to New Days all like like
yeah,
frolicky and not sissy, but like frolicky and happy numbers, and then all of a sudden it switches to Jericho's numbers.
yeah.
So go ahead.
But the
Gary
hardest.
Axel is the best ever.
Oh yeah, it was because I have to explain it. Okay, because for some reason I don't know if it's just because I have Time Warner and Jamie has, I don't know, what's your company
Optimum.
that you have?
Optimum.
Optimum. So for whatever reason, she's always 1 second behind me when we're watching normal TV. I don't know why, but it's very difficult because we accidentally end up spoiling things for each other. Like if I go ooh, and then she's like, "What are you reacting to?" So, needless to say, I'm sitting here watching this moment, and I see that it switched to Jericho's countdown, and all I can do in order to not spoil the fact of what she's about to see, but still have a reaction, is go, "Ugh." That's
And
literally what I did.
I was like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Go ahead. It's your topic. It's your boy.
So then, so I was like, duh. And then, well, but you have, so she's like, are you okay? And, and then tell him what you said to me. You're like, I thought you were having a heart attack.
I thought you were having a heart attack, and then I thought you were like having gas or something. I was like, this is really awkward, but I mean, okay. And then you started, and then when it switched for me, I was like, oh my gosh! And then I was freaking out, but not as much as you were freaking out. That was
Yeah,
great.
but then I went full on freak out, just like her
Mark out.
take reactions, and it was just the greatest thing ever. And she was smiling and laughing at me, and she even posted on Twitter to make everybody like retweet me and all that. It was great. But yeah, it was completely unexpected because Jericho did it again. This is what he does, and I love him, but I hate him because he will sit there and say point blank, "I'm not being in WWE for 6 months to a year. I gotta go do the Fozzy thing. I gotta go do the Talking Jericho thing, whatever else I got going on. So you're not gonna see me for a while." And then out of nowhere,
He comes back. Like, that
Yeah.
was so unexpected. So unexpected.
I mean, he
It was
wasn't.
great, though.
I mean, I follow his Twitter every day. I follow his feeds every day. As far as we knew, he was nowhere near Raw.
Actually, there was no mention of him at all about wrestling. Like, there was no
Yeah,
mention. Like, the last thing we heard was that he's doing stuff with Fozzy, so he won't be back for a while. Little
yeah,
liar. Little liar. That wasn't that long ago that he said that either. But I like when he does that because it's always great seeing your reaction, and then it's always great seeing him.
yeah. And I loved. Speaking of Jericho and New Day, I love what New Day said on SmackDown when they were dogging on Jericho for calling them Rudy Tooty Booty, which is great.
It's
Jericho,
always awesome hearing his catchphrases too and stuff.
yeah. But when he got the crowd chanting Rudy Tooty Booty, that was so hilarious.
That was fantastic when they were chanting that with Jericho.
But yeah, but a New Day on SmackDown when Xavier was like Chris Jericho and his little light bright jacket, which technically he stole from me. Go watch your old school NXT and you'll know what I'm talking about. That was great.
Fantastic.
But
I know.
yeah,
This
the
is
whole,
your element, so go ahead.
the whole thing was just in his promo too when he even said on Twitter immediately after he was done, because that's the beautiful thing about Twitter. All you gotta do is grab your iPhone, preferably, or if you're, still in the dark ages and on Android, and I speak from personal experience because I was on Android for how long. But anyway, all you got to do is grab your phone, and you can tweet immediately when you want to talk about something. And so as soon as he goes backstage, he tweets out and he goes, "Well, I'm going to get in trouble for that one." And what he was talking about was the way he said, television ratings, house show attendance, network subscriptions, all of them need a boost. All of them need a little Y2J, baby. I mean, give him credit for doing that because he's one of those guys like The Rock. He can get away with whatever he wants to do. Say a young kid could not do that. A young kid could not go out there, like even KO, as awesome as he is. He cannot go out there and say, "Oh, ratings are in the toilet."
Yeah, he would get killed for that. He would get killed. People were tweeting that too. Like when he said all that, I think the Lexman was like, "Well, he's getting in trouble." So
yeah,
he's so good on the mic. I could when Jericho was talking, I was enjoying your reaction, but then like I was just also like so mesmerized when he talked. I could listen to him talk all day long.
Yeah, and it was also difficult. Returns are always for Undertaker and Jericho are always difficult because we love talking to each other when something big happens. But then when it's our favorite superstars, we're like glued to the screen too. We can't pay attention.
No, I don't notice anything. Like the house could be burning down, and I wouldn't know because I'd be so focused on him.
Yeah, like you were trying to tell me about Alex's tweet, and I had to apologize and have you repeat it because all I wanted to do Jericho's promo with Jericho. Because he was doing his whole never ever be the same again.
Yeah. Whenever you say ever, you can't say it normally. You have to say Jericho's phrase. Like you have to.
No, I can't say never ever. I have to go ever be the same again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the whole thing was just I'm still on cloud nine about it. I've lost count of how many times I've watched it this week, at least once every day. Maybe twice. So yeah,
we all have our moments with our favorite wrestlers.
Yeah, it was great. And then, oh my God, how perfect was your birthday and Christmas gifts? Because when you ordered those, you had no idea what was gonna happen on Raw.
No.
And then you got to see like react to Jericho again. Like that was like the most perfect timing ever.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, a lot of good things happening.
So yeah, so it was a great Jericho week for me. But again, not going to talk about that too much because you got to go watch the video. But yeah.
By the way, though, if anybody wants to, kidnap the Undertaker and ship him to me, that would be great too. Because it's my birthday, and you guys might want to send me stuff. So if you could kidnap him and put him in a box, that would be great. Speaking of our favorite wrestlers, because Raz is marking out to Jericho and I mark out to Taker. So if anyone, wants to send me him, that works too.
Yeah. Right, Raz? I kind of sent him kind of sent him in a box, but it's not
Sort
really.
of. He sent his merch, which was fantastic. I loved it. If you want to see the reaction, links below.
Yeah,
Promo. But
because
anyways, yeah.
everybody should know by now, it's not just a normal markout with this one when it comes to Undertaker. It's
No.
freaking Heart Attack City.
Yep. There's like, he got to react to me reacting to Undertaker live. Like
Yeah,
when
you
I was
gotta.
watching on TV, I was reacting to Undertaker, so he got to see it. And then now it's the other way around. When Jericho was on TV and he returned, then I got to see him react to that.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying. It's like, why aren't we? That's the difficult thing about surprise returns. Because I was like, why couldn't we have been recording this now? Because we were just on FaceTime. We weren't on here.
Yeah,
So
that's the one thing that sucks about, you know, surprise returns is obviously it wouldn't be a surprise if you knew. But anyways, though, like one time someone asked me why I didn't film Battleground. I was like, I didn't know he was coming back. I was like, first of all, it wouldn't have been like a surprise reaction either.
yeah, and when we get off here, I'm gonna have to go back to my channel, I think, and remind people that about this one more time. I think I've done a lot, but I got questions on my channel like, Raz, why aren't you talking about Jericho? Where's your Jericho video? Because I do one every year, but that was before I started this podcast, so I had to wait and do all the talking about it here with you because it would have been more fun.
All right. So now the topic that we absolutely want to talk about is where does WWE go from here with all the wrestlers hurt? So for instance, since what we really wanted to talk about, John Cena just came back and he's only been back for 2 weeks and now he's out again from a shoulder injury. And supposedly, or you know the rumor mill, he's supposed to fight Undertaker. Not supposed to, but that's one of the big matches that was circling for Undertaker to face. Because every year, even though the streak's not here anymore, every year now it's like who does the great Undertaker face now? And now that it's not John Cena, who else is on the roster? Who's the big guys to face? Because everyone is either that's big is injured, not there, or there's not anyone on his level to face. Because there are people now they're saying like maybe The Rock. They're saying Braun Strowman, but Braun Strowman's not ready, and I wouldn't really want to see that anyway. But like, who's left for him to face, and who's left on the roster to do anything? So, what are your thoughts?
Honestly, John Cena, I mean, without them confirming it, because they don't confirm anything for WrestleMania until usually after the Rumble. That's when the official pushes start. But every sign pretty much pointed toward John Cena versus Undertaker at Mania 32. So that was going to be one of the biggest, most marquee matches that we've ever seen. It's one of the few things left that Undertaker hasn't done yet. So with that being said, it almost has to be something else that he hasn't done. So my instinct is The Rock, because The Rock confirmed that he is going to be a part of WrestleMania 32, and The Rock and Undertaker, surprisingly enough, because they were both such huge stars during the Attitude Era. Well, Undertaker started before the Attitude Era, but The Rock was in his heyday as The Rock during the Attitude Era. Surprisingly, those two have never had a proper feud together.
Right, and I've never faced at WrestleMania either.
Ever. So it would definitely be something that would work, and it would, not that you can replace John Cena per se, but The Rock is a really good substitute in that.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So now that it's not John Cena, we have to find a substitute, and WWE is probably really racing now to try to fill those 100,000 seats because there's so many people missing. Like, what do you do? Who faces who? What matches are going to be there? And you gotta have people there because normally for WrestleMania everybody's there. You have your big stars that come back, but everyone's gone. So obviously I guess now it's The Rock, which I was hoping it would be Cena, but I mean The Rock is just as good. And then everyone wants to see Sting, but he's hurt, so probably not. Everybody that's possible for Undertaker is all hurt. Some people I've seen a good article that said of wrestlers to face Undertaker. John Cena was one of them, but he can't. Sting, obviously, but he's hurt. And then people wanted, if Daniel Bryan ever gets cleared, which probably not between now and WrestleMania, Daniel Bryan, and then like a Roman or a Dean, because they had a feud in the past. When remember SmackDown when the Shield was feuding with Team Hell No and Taker for just that like little bit.
Right. Well, that's what I was going to say. I love the idea of Daniel Bryan versus Undertaker. But again, it's, all about, are they going to clear Daniel Bryan? And what I will say about clearing Daniel Bryan, if they were ever going to clear Daniel Bryan, now needs to be the time to clear Daniel Bryan. You can't do it after WrestleMania now.
Yeah. You need it. Go ahead.
Not with the lack of star power for this WrestleMania this year. You need Daniel Bryan now if you're going to use him.
Yes, because you kind of need a lot of people right now because a lot of people are out. But yeah, I was saying I would be fine with The Rock. I actually would love that. I wanted Cena, but obviously that's not happening. We all want Sting. Probably not going to happen. And Daniel Bryan. I want a Daniel Bryan versus Taker, but that probably won't happen.
Maybe a chance that Sting could happen next year, but it's just all depends on if his body will ever let him wrestle again.
Right, which sucks because it sucks. We want to see it now, not later. But
which again, people are still. I mean, as great as WrestleMania 27 was, the first quote unquote first match, because we're supposed to forget about WrestleMania 17, but the quote unquote first match between Undertaker and Triple H, as great as that match was, people now more than ever still are going back to they should have signed Sting in. Why couldn't they get Sting in? Because he would have been more healthy then at that point to face Undertaker.
That is true, but Undertaker also wasn't in the greatest shape either then. This is only the first time he's been healthy in a while. But still, yeah, that works too. But also, I don't think he was anywhere close to signing at the time because there was like little rumors before he actually officially came to WWE that, he'll never sign, or like he's always said, he was always close to signing but never did. But at least he signed, which it sucks the way he's had to go out because I really wish they could face. But anyway, my question to you, because it still has to do with Undertaker, is what if my guy faced your guy?
Well, we did get a little
versus Undertaker.
We did get a taste of that, ironically enough, in a match that aired on my birthday, because my birthday is November 13th.
Yeah, sort of, but it wasn't like a big proper feud, and it wasn't like at WrestleMania. It was a SmackDown. But yeah, we did touch on it. Go ahead, continue.
Right, but yeah, November 13th, 2009, the taping that you went to, by the way, which was like 2 months before I met you. I'm like, really? Because if you would have known back then, she would have given me so many pictures and probably got me merch and probably tried to get Jericho to say something to me and stuff. But yes,
and Taker was world champ too.
Yeah, Taker was world champ back then. But yeah, so we've got like a cup of coffee taste in it of it. But yeah, Jericho's definitely one, without a doubt, one of those guys that could.
That's what I'm saying. I really honestly would like to see the two of them face.
Yeah, because Jericho can, as much as, not that Undertaker never needs carried, but if he decides that he's only going to be there for 2 or 3 weeks building up to the feud, Jericho can carry a feud without his opponent there. He's done it numerous times in his career.
He's really good in ring, and if Undertaker wasn't as healthy as he is now, it would be a good match because he's not careless in the ring.
Yeah, and he would know how to protect Undertaker. So yeah, I would love to see it. But at the same time, it would be the most difficult match, the most difficult thing our friendship has ever faced, because we literally have to just sit there and just be dead silent the entire time with each other.
Like, let's go, Taker. And you're like, no. Well, you like both, but you would cheer for your favorite, obviously, and I would have to cheer for my favorite. Honestly, they're both such good wrestlers, and it would be, I really, really, that's what I was going to say. He would be another person for him to face. Like, Jericho's a great opponent, so.
Yeah, I would love.
They've never had like a proper feud. I mean, they faced before, and they've never faced really at like a big pay-per-view like that. So having them at WrestleMania would be pretty amazing too. But continue.
Yeah, no, I was just saying I would love to see it for all those reasons, but just because you're my tag team partner and best friend, it would be very difficult.
Yeah, it would be
For
difficult. But he's another opponent that we would like to see face. I don't think that's a possibility, but I think it's something I would like to see. And but just because you're my friend, it would be difficult at the same time too. But anything
yeah,
else we would like to
well,
add? Oh yeah, my question being, what do you think WWE is gonna do besides that? Now that everybody's hurt,
I
so
they just have no excuse. They've got to build up new stars. We've said that before on this show, but now more than ever, their roster is just completely depleted. They've got to call guys up for NXT, use them right, don't screw them up, and build up new stars, and take care of the guys that are there. One of the reasons that Kevin Owens lost the Intercontinental title, I thought, was because they were ready to move him up into WWE World Heavyweight Championship contention. Well, if you weren't ready before, you need to be ready now, because Kevin Owens would be the perfect guy to replace Seth Rollins if you want another corporate champion, if you want another guy that doesn't, care about anything except the dollar. Kevin Owens would be that guy. He'd be a great choice to win the Royal Rumble if they want to go that route. So that's one thing you could do. Another thing you could do in terms of Undertaker, call up Finn Balor because their characters are so similar.
that's another person people want to see too. But then at the same time, is he too early in his career to
have said that he deserves to face Taker?
That's what's said about Braun Strowman too, that he's shouldn't have the honor yet of facing him.
Yeah. I definitely want to see Finn versus Taker, but maybe next year or the year after.
I also heard that he was supposed to be called up for the Undertaker and Kane match. They either didn't think he was ready, or because so many people were hurt, they had to change it to like 2 people. And so still people are hurt. And that's what you were saying, that they need to build stars, which is a whole nother topic.
Yeah, they're doing a great job with Dean and Kevin right now, but they need to. That's almost where the Intercontinental title and the U.S. title are almost a problem right now, because you need to be building up a lot of great workers for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, but at the same time, you have no mid-card if you do that. So it's just a very difficult situation that they're in.
Yeah.
Right now. But so really everything, we said it when Seth Rollins got hurt. Now we can say it with John Cena and all these other guys hurt with Seth. It's really a week by week thing. Well, we're just gonna have to see what happens. I was just wondering.
Did you hear her? Sorry if you heard that in the background.
Well, I was just wondering what she was throwing there, but apparently it was just to get.
No, I dropped a lot of things on the floor, but no, she's meowing too. I don't know if you can hear that.
Okay, well, yeah. Wanda Star is here for the end of the video. That's the Wanda Cat.
Hello, everybody. My human had her birthday yesterday, and now she's filming her podcast. But I have to go now because I'm busy doing kitty things. So, say bye.
Bye, Wanda Cat. Bye, Wanda Cat.
No, she's not having it. She's not having it right now. Go ahead.
But yeah, so with that,
Careful.
with that wonderful piece of entertainment right there, I think we need to end this episode. But yeah, all I was saying was I think it's a week to week thing, and we're really just gonna have to see what they do because it's so hard to predict.
What I was saying before about WWE, what are they gonna say? Having they need to build stars now because they're all panicked, and now they have to call Undertaker back, The Rock, Brock Lesnar. You shouldn't have to do that. I mean, you would have them around this time anyway, but you shouldn't have to do that if you had established stars. Oh, and before we go, how about AJ Styles and all those New Japan wrestlers?
You almost forgot
pro wrestlers signing to WWE.
Yeah,
that also will help him out.
Yeah, it's pretty much a lock that the majority of the Bullet Club is now a part of WWE, which is huge, absolutely huge. Everybody expects them to be part of the NXT brand because they kind of fit the NXT brand, but at the same time, if Finn gets called up, then AJ, Carl Anderson, and and Sakura Nakamura need to be with Finn.
Yes, and I think now that everybody's hurt, they'll have to call all of them up. You know.
Yeah.
Because there's nobody on the roster.
Yeah, maybe Apollo gets called up. Maybe Baron Corbin, don't really like him, but he's just doing his job. He's good at what he does. Maybe he gets called up. You know, one way or the other, the landscape of WWE has changed. It's just going to be a matter of what they do with it and doing it right. Like you said, don't hit the panic button. They hit the panic button every time something like this happens. Just do it right and don't think that your guys that are 40 and 50 can carry you all the time.
Right. Yeah, they definitely can't carry you all the time. That's way when a wrestlers get hurt, you don't have to panic because you already have a bunch of stars. I mean, it would suck anyway because around this time, the Undertakers, the Rocks, the John Cenas, they all come back, you know, and that's fine, a special time. But you don't want to have to hit the button or don't want to get to that point because you already have stars. But I think that's fantastic that all those guys are signing, because how long have we all been saying that we want to see them in WWE, especially AJ Styles?
Yeah, especially AJ, because AJ never got a proper chance in WWE ever. So yeah, it's fantastic, and I can't wait to see it no matter where it happens. And needless to say, it will be a big topic here when it does happen.
Because yeah, definitely, at least that helps WWE right now.
Yeah,
and that's a big thing.
And that's our biggest thing. I mean, if you can't tell by who our favorite wrestlers, Chris Jericho and Undertaker, are, our biggest thing as wrestling fans is workers who care about the business, workers who can entertain you from start to finish, and workers who can go. So, yeah, all three of those guys definitely fit that mold too.
I was actually going to say it quicker in the video. Like, I remembered at the beginning about talking about AJ Styles and everything, but then we got on such a tangent about your favorite, then Undertaker, and then the injuries. We almost totally forgot, but...
Yeah, that would have been bad. We would have had so many comments about, you guys didn't talk about the Bullet Club, the Baylor Club at all, you know? So it's a good thing we did, so...
Would you like to add anything else before we end?
No, just make sure you follow at NTBWE for your questions and your interactions with the show. We're still working on the best way to use that Twitter. Like we said, go in the description box to see what I got for Christmas 2015 and a birthday and Christmas package from Rotisserie Jamie to see the live reactions to everything and all of the rest of our social media links in the description. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.